Yo, what up, guys? Back again. You know, what? I don't know what day I'm on, but every day so far. But yeah, today we're gonna react to another video. Not a gaming video today, sadly. I'm gonna make a gaming video soon. I don't know what it's gonna be, which game is gonna be about, but we'll figure that out soon. Don't know when, but soon. But we're gonna react to a video about the actress of Sam Bucket. I ain't gonna lie. I knew everything. Not everything. I knew a lot of things what happened to her, but I don't know the full story of what happened. You see what I'm saying? So let's educate ourselves. If you don't know either, what the fuck happened, bro? Like literally, what happened? Like I know her mom was bad, and she wrote a book about her mom. I don't know if that's it, but I kind of want to see what happened. So without further ado, I'm gonna stop wasting your time and pause this music, and we gon' do it. Windows. Hi guys, y'all can see what I see now. Let's see. Let's watch together.
Jennette McCurdy is a face recognized by millions of kids worldwide that grew up watching her as Sam Puckett and iCarly. But
very true. Remember, I loved iCarly. I loved Drake and Drake and Josh. Oh my god, my words. I ain't gonna lie. When I found out Drake was weird, I was kind of sad. I did react to that from Patrick CC. So yeah, check that video out if you haven't seen. But like, I don't know. Out of like Drake and Josh, iCarly and Victorious, I did like Victorious, but I think Victorious is last. iCarly is second, and Drake and Josh is number one. I don't know why Drake and Josh made me laugh more. I don't know what it was, but they were just hilarious to me. So yeah, that's how I would rank it.
But after the end of the show, and after the failure
also
of
got
the
some
spin-off
cereal.
Sam and Cat, Jennette went down a path of alcoholism, eating disorders, and messy public appearances that deemed her a
really?
child star gone crazy. How could this happen? Well, the harsh truth is that Jennette never wanted the fame. She never wanted to be an actress, she never wanted to be a TV, she never wanted to be on camera. She later
She never wanted to be on any of those things, but she got forced. That's crazy, bro. How could a parent do that, bro? If my kids don't want to do it, they don't gotta do it, bro. They can be a regular ass kid. For real. Like, say if I get famous somehow from YouTube, right? I don't think I might do what Dante does. I might talk about him, obviously, but I ain't gonna show his face like everywhere, like the YouTubers be doing with their kids. Like I don't know.
Opened up about this in her memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died, a book title that may shock or even offend a lot of people. The idea that someone would be so happy over the death of their own mom would make you be a little skeptical, but after...
I mean, like, if they did some crazy shit, it's understandable, you know? Like, am I wrong for saying that? Like, if my mom did some crazy shit to me, she hasn't, but say she did, bruh. Am I wrong? Am I really wrong? Am I really in the wrong for saying that? She not in the wrong. I ain't gonna lie. Yep.
After reading the book and looking at her story, you'd be glad she died too. So
I know.
Let's look at the story of Jennette McCurdy. A lot of people would be surprised that Jennette actually came from terrible circumstances. She lived in a house with her 3 brothers, her mom Deborah, her dad Mark, and her grandparents on her mom's side. They were often very
There's a lot of people in the house. Goddamn.
short on paying the bills and constantly needed extensions. The only reason they still even had the house in the first place was because Mark's parents were the previous owners and they gave him a good deal. All of the adults had jobs except for Deborah. Her grandpa worked as a ticket taker in Disneyland, her grandma was a receptionist at a retirement home, and her dad made cardboard cutouts for Hollywood Video and also worked in the kitchen department at Home Depot.
Oh, wow.
However, her mom was the only one that was not employed at all.
Wait, so does he work? Wait, so did her dad work 2 jobs? Or is that like one? Sorry, let me talk to my phone real quick. Because that's kind of crazy how he got to pick up 2 jobs to like really cover her slack. For real. That's why she's in show business, for the family.
She occasionally would pick up some shifts at Targets during the holidays, but never really had a job. Jennette was extremely close to her mom. Being homeschooled her whole life and didn't really have any girls her age to talk to, she naturally bonded with her mom a lot more. At only 2 years old, Deborah was diagnosed with stage 4 breast cancer, which was a heavy burden on the family. Not just because of her treatment, which racked up the medical bills, or the emotional stress it put on the family.
Oh yeah, you know that's bad, bro. You
Because
know
of
it.
the extreme lifestyle changes that she implemented on the family after her diagnosis. She was cancer-free a couple years later, but still changed for the worse. Deborah became an excessive hoarder, and I mean an excessive
Oh my
hoarder.
god. This is terrible. This is horrible, bro. I don't think I could ever let my room get to like this point. Something's gotta go. Whether it's clothes, toothbrushes, something gotta go.
The house was flooded with random junk like toys, expired
like I saw a toothbrush over here, bro. You don't need to keep a toothbrush, bro. Just buy a new one.
makeup,
Throw away the other one,
used wrappers,
or use it as a to clean your shoes.
bunch of junk. The stuff overflowed the garage to the point where it was not usable. Jennette and her brothers couldn't even access their own bedroom because it was so heavily cluttered. So they ended up having to sleep in the living room on gymnastics mats that they bought from Costco.
Gymnastics mat. What's
the hoarding attracted a giant rat and possum issue.
So they trying to get sick.
Jennette was ashamed of her house her entire life.
That would
the
be
family
too.
was raised Mormon, and they were members of the Church of Jesus of Latter-day Saints. Kids usually hate attending religious obligations, but Jennette would always look forward to the 3-hour Sunday service because, quite frankly,
because you're away from home. Come on now, like that's bullshit.
The only thing that got them out of the flooded house.
Exactly.
And it was after Deborah's diagnosis that they started attending more and more frequently. At home, Jennette's mom was ecstatic. It's suspected that she had bipolar disorder, narcissistic personality disorder, borderline personality disorder, or a weird combination of all three. She never got treatment for her issues or went to therapy despite her family constantly encouraging her to go get help. She often got angry with Jennette's dad for no reason. If Mark came home a little bit later than usual, Deborah would automatically assume that he was cheating and threaten him with a knife to leave the house. This happened pretty often, and he put up with it. Deborah always wanted to be an actress, but never pursued it, and all
Debbie died. You serious? And somebody would just say, fuck the kids, fuck everything else. I can't keep dealing with this. Nigga said, you know what, bro? He'd probably think about his kids. Unless he's bad too. Is he bad too? Or is he good? I don't know.
Always put the blame on her parents for never supporting her. She believed that she deserved the fame and fortune, the celebrity lifestyle. Living in a crappy home and in an unfulfilled marriage, she constantly dreamed of what could have been. So, when Jennette turned 6, she decided to turn her into an actress and give her the life that she never had. But Jennette had no interest in acting. She never hinted at it or even thought about doing it. She was shy and uncomfortable in person, but Jennette would do anything to make her mom happy. Anything. Wow. Her mom was her best friend in the whole world and meant everything to her. Jennette's birthday wish each year was for her mom to live long enough to see the next one. Jennette was always careful never to say the wrong thing around her mom because she was always scared about how she would react. When Deborah didn't get her way, she would throw tantrums and become rowdy like a child, ironically. So when Jennette's mom asked her if she wanted to be mommy's little actress, there was only one right answer. Child actors are a gold mine in the industry. If a child can perform well on camera, they can make very good money for their work. Deborah didn't just see her as a vessel for her dream, but also as a big paycheck. It was then that Deborah dedicated to being Jennette's full-time manager. Now, they lived in Garden Grove, California, which was only an hour-and-a-half drive from Hollywood. Deborah started taking her to agencies to get her an agent. And from the get-go, the agents could clearly tell that Jennette's heart was not in acting. But Deborah wanted this more than anything. So, Jennette wanted this more than anything. She eventually got signed to do background work. Her first gig was on The X-Files, a very popular TV show. Her first role was uncredited, and the exact episode she's in was unknown, but it's a good start. Jennette then started to get more and more background roles regularly. Eventually, Jennette was chosen to play a small key shot in the film Golden Dreams, a film about the Great Depression. The director liked how she was really good at making a sad face. Ironically, it wasn't really that hard for her to be authentic. Her appearance was only for a small second, but this was just enough to...
it's good. That's all I gotta say about it. It's good.
Elevate her from background actor to principal actor. Now, principal actors are the ones who have speaking roles. And this would now open the door for Jennette to get bigger and better roles. Deborah started getting more and more intense for Jennette's preparation to get good roles. When Jennette didn't do well in an audition that had dance choreography, she started making Jennette take 14 dance classes a week. When she lost out on
14 a week. It's not that serious. I mean, it is that serious. It's acting, but still, she's a kid, bro. If I do 14 dance classes a week, bro, I'm quitting. I ain't gonna lie. After the second one, because I ain't doing 14. You bugging.
On a Chef Boyardee commercial for not being able to pogo stick, she made Jennette practice pogoing every single day until she could land 1,000 jumps without falling.
Wow.
In 2008, she landed her first real role on Mad TV, where she played in one of the skits. In the skit, Nancy Sullivan portrayed Kathy Lee Gifford, who was a very famous television host at the time. And in the skit, she puts her children on a talk show to try and make them famous as well, where Jennette plays her daughter. What makes this skit so ironic is the fact that Kathy is constantly coaching her kids on what to say and how to act.
And that's exactly what her mom is doing. That's crazy. I'm not gonna lie. This is a crazy story. If you're a mother out there and you love your kids and you're doing way better job than her, good job, bro. You deserve. Good job, bro. kids, hug your parents, bro. Hug your mom if you love them, bro. Because I ain't gonna lie, this mom is terrible. This is terrible.
Kind of like how Jennette's real mom does.
I could never want this mom for my children. I'm not gonna lie. Get the help that you need, bro. If you got a mental disorder, a mental disorder, then please find help, bro. Go to therapy. Get diagnosed. Something. Please.
Real life.
I'm gonna do that.
You're
Go to therapy.
old.
That's
Good one,
terrible.
Cass. All right, we got a great show for you today. Cass, Cody, smile. Smile. Hey, Cassidy, put down that sugar daddy.
For this role, Deborah had Jennette constantly chugging sugar-free Red Bulls to keep her energized, which is a very dangerous thing to give a kid. Jennette was a very likable child actor in the industry because she took...
But you said Red Bull?
Very dangerous thing. Jennette constantly chugging sugar-free Red Bulls to keep her energized.
Sugar-free Red Bulls? I had a Monster yesterday. That was only one. I ain't giving that to. I am not giving to that shit. Damn, I can't talk. Kind of making me upset a little. It's kind of making me upset a little bit. But I'm not getting any Red Bulls or energy drinks to a kid. I'm sorry to say it, but you gotta be like, I don't even know, over 16. Ish.
Which is a very dangerous thing to give a kid. Jennette was a very likable child actor in the industry because she took direction well and was very cooperative, something that can be kind of hard to find amongst child actors. But one of her secret weapons was being able to cry on cue. That's a hard one. Jennette was a natural at this. Whenever she needed to cry for a scene, she would just simply think of one of her brothers dying and the tears would flow like waterfalls. Being liked in the industry and getting recognized for talent would really elevate Jennette's career. She made guest appearances on CSI, Malcolm in the Middle, Law and Order, and she even did a Sprint commercial which gave her residuals. With the money, she got herself a nice oak bed, and her mom even decluttered her room just enough for her to be able to sleep in an actual bed. She even got a Young Artist Award nomination for her guest spot in the medical drama Strong Medicine. But it was during this time that Jennette started to develop OCD. On Jennette's 8th birthday, she was officially baptized as a Mormon. Her mom did the same when she was 8, and her mother before that as well. On the day of her baptism, a small voice appeared in her head that she interpreted as the Holy Ghost. In Mormonism, the Holy Ghost is seen as the third Godhead alongside God the Father and Jesus Christ. The Holy Ghost acts as a spiritual guide and a source of comfort. This Holy Ghost instructed Jennette to do various repetitive tasks such as unlock and unlock the door 5 times, squint her eyes, and fold her tongue. Jennette felt that she had to do these really random rituals in order to book more roles and to keep her mom alive. This started all the way back when Jennette would use her birthday wish every single year that her mom would not die of cancer. And since she did this every year and her mom was alive every year, she made the conclusion that she had to keep doing this in order for her mom to stay alive. Jennette never told anyone in the family about this voice, but her grandpa noticed that she was doing these very strange repetitive tasks and urged her mom to take her to a therapist. Deborah brushed it off and urged that Jennette was perfect. act. Jennette's grandpa was the only
Ain't no fucking way, bro.
one who voiced his opinion on Jennette not being an actor. Because at this point, Jennette's acting was basically an effort for Deborah to live her dream and also to keep a roof over the family's head. The idea that Jennette had to keep acting in order to keep her mom happy and to help keep the bills paid was a lot of stress for an 8-year-old. But there was no convincing Deborah. Now that she had a taste of—
No 8-year-old should be paying bills, bro. That is absurd. I'm not gonna lie. I can't, like, that's terrible.
Her daughter being in the spotlight and on television, there was no going back. Jennette was in way too deep at this point in her pre-chosen career path in order to make her mom happy, even if that meant making her miserable. In reality, Jennette always wanted to be a writer, but it was never encouraged by her mom. When Jennette wrote her first screenplay and showed it to her mom barely even read it before saying, "I hope you don't like writing more than acting. You're so good at acting," and deemed her idea a copy of The Parent Trap. Jennette was embarrassed that she even showed her the screenplay. Deborah was upset.
Aw, you can't just shut down your kids' ideas like that, bro. You gotta really encourage them. Don't be like that, mom, bro. Encourage your kids, bro, to do better, to do what they want to do. Not because of the money or anything, but if they love it, who cares about the money?
With keeping
Even though in this world, you know, money goes around and all that shit. And yes, money can really help you, but like if you're really miserable in your job, what's really the point? You know?
Jennette looking young so that she had more opportunity for auditions. And Jennette was afraid of puberty because she felt her mom wouldn't love her anymore if she grew up. Deborah got her into what she called calorie restriction, which was basically a fancy way of saying starving yourself. Jennette and her mom would start doing this calorie restriction practice together, planning their meals for the next day together while keeping a very high track of everything they ate. Deborah provided Jennette with a stack of dieting books to help her lose weight. Soon, Jennette would only eat half of her meals throughout the day to only get half
of her meals.
Stick to water-dense vegetables.
That's why she was so skinny.
Her dinners then consisted mostly of iceberg lettuce and ripped up pieces of bologna. Her cheat
So
foods would be sugar-free popsicles, applesauce, and unsweetened iced tea. Jennette
that's
quite
cheap.
literally became anorexic, but oddly enjoyed it because her mom approved of it. In Jennette's mind, she thought it was healthy. To Jennette, it was bonding with her mom, but to Deborah, it was a strategy to get Jennette more acting roles.
I had felt a lump in my breast that I thought was, oh, well, my mom had cancer, so I'm probably getting cancer. And she said, no, Nat, that's just boobies. And I said, well, can I stop boobies from happening? I don't want boobies. I don't want to grow up. And I knew that my mom really wanted me to stay young. She really, really made that clear to me. She would sob and really clutch me intensely and say, like, I don't want my baby to grow up. And I knew me growing up would mean us separating, and I didn't want that to happen. So I asked if there was a way that I could stop the boobies from coming in, and she told me, well, there's a thing called calorie restriction. And
what? I would've been like, no, there's no way. There's no way to stop that happening, bro. Girl, if you don't just grow up. But literally, you just say, oh yeah, there's this. Ban her ass. What is she talking about? Why are you doing this? What type of shit is this? Can we stop boobies from happening? Oh yeah, there's this thing. Like, no. No. Like, what is wrong with you?
Sort of secret in our code, and something that, as disturbing as it is, really bonded us. Right. It was our thing. Yep. No one else got this thing. We got this thing. I can look at you from across the room and know you got me and I got you. And we were just in the disease, in the sickness. But there was a connection that the sickness created that I, of course, couldn't see at the time.
Jennette would weigh herself 5 times a day to make sure that she was making progress, and then became obsessed with her weight. Over the course of 6 months, Jennette went down 3 sizes and weighed 61 pounds. A very unhealthy weight for a girl her age. And even then, her mom was disappointed that it wasn't lower. When Jennette was weighed by her doctor, they tried to tell her mom that she may be anorexic. Deborah would act surprised and claim that she thought that Jennette was eating normally, even though she was the one that put Jennette on this path in the first place. Jennette's loss in weight was very noticeable to people around her, but that would only be the start of her eating disorders that carried into her adulthood. In 2005,
oh, gee, I forgot. He did say she had a diseating order. Oh my god, bro. What the fuck is wrong with her mom, bro?
Jennette made her first Nickelodeon appearance in the show Zoe 101 in the 2nd season. She played a rebellious and rude girl that gets held back in the 6th grade multiple times. She played the role well. really, really well. Dan Schneider liked her I don't give a fuck attitude that she displayed so young. It made her a perfect contender for the upcoming kids show that Nickelodeon had planned, iCarly, a show about two teens who start a web series. Jennette nailed the audition and got the role. This was big. Jennette booked a lead role on a major television network. Upon hearing the news, both Jennette and her mom screamed at the top of their lungs in excitement. Jennette thought this would be the start of easy times. Her mom would finally be happy with life and with her daughter, but it was the start of absolute hell. On the show, Jennette famously plays the character of Sam Puckett, the rude and tomboyish best friend of the main character. And there's quite a lot of irony with this role. For one, she was usually the comedic relief of the show and almost stole every single scene that she was in. She was the fan favorite even though she hated playing the role. In the show, Sam loves food, often eating random food that she seems to get out of nowhere, like fat cakes, bacon, and meat. And Sam,
bro, those fat cakes, I remember I used to always want to eat those. I was like, damn, that should look good.
Was still starving herself horrendously on the show. It was like her own role was teasing her. And on top of it all, Sam has a terrible relationship with her mom in the show. It's hinted that Sam's...
That's true. I forgot about that. Her mom's like always in jail and shit, and she really doesn't like her. I can't remember if they get into fights or not. I think they do, but it's kind of crazy. Well, that's actually kind of crazy. That foreshadowing.
Character has a pretty rough upbringing, just like in real life. And in the one show where Sam's mom made an appearance, they get into a giant fight. And despite Jennette's deep hatred for the show, something positive did come from the experience: her friendship with co-star Miranda Cosgrove. The two became very, very good friends on and off the set, which many Nickelodeon fans would probably love to hear, considering the fact that Drake and Josh didn't really get along very well on set. Now, initially, Deborah told Jennette to stay away from Miranda because she didn't believe in God, but it might have also been the jealousy of Miranda taking up more of the spotlight from her daughter. Jennette admired Miranda and saw her as the cool girl. They exchanged numbers after the last shoot of the first season and began texting every single day. After work, they would watch a movie at ArcLight together and they would Skype every weekend. However, Deborah would always accompany them on their hangouts and her controlling behavior continued.
Oh, hell no.
Violating things that Deborah did was frequently shower Jennette. Yeah, you heard me right.
Huh? How? So... after Sam and Cat, how old was she? Because there is no way you're still showering your daughter. Ain't no way. I'm sorry to say this. After their toddler days, you don't need to touch those niggas, bro. I'm sorry to say it. You don't, bro. You don't need to bath for them or anything, bro. You gotta teach them on how to clean themselves. And then leave the room, bro. Because ain't no fucking way you are bathing... you're showering your kids. Yeah, get the fuck out of here. Ban her ass.
And she would do frequent checkups on her special areas for cancer. Often she would shower Jennette and her brother together, which was very uncomfortable for the both of them. She did this ever since Jennette was little and did it all throughout her teen years. Jennette claims that this was the hardest part to write about in her book and contributed pretty badly to a lot of her body issues. And whenever Jennette said that she didn't want to do them anymore, her mom would wail and cry about her child growing up, and then Jennette would cave in. Her mom still made her sit
that's manipulating, bro. That's manipulating. No. Don't give it to her. Don't give in. She bullshitting.
In a booster seat whenever she was in the car. Again, she's 16 at this time. And she monitored almost everything Jennette ate from breakfast till dinner. If Jennette wanted to eat something, it had to get the thumbs up from Mama McCurdy. And even then, she could still barely eat anything. She was still eating lettuce and bologna for dinner, but 3 years after iCarly started, her mom started to let her eat a little bit more. She started giving Jennette 2% milk and honeycomb cereal, a huge upgrade from having no breakfast at all. And after dinner, Jennette would be allowed to eat 2 Smart cookies for dinner, but her mom was still very overly obsessed with her weight. 2008 was a very eventful year for Jennette. This was the year the Writers Guild Strike of America occurred. Over 12,000 TV and film writers refused to work in protest for fair wages, and iCarly was one of the many shows affected. This put a pause on show production, so Jennette's team suggested that she get into music to try and keep her career going. This is what a lot of the teen actors were doing at the time, including Britney Spears, Hilary Duff, and of course, Miley Cyrus. She decided to go go towards
Britney
the pop
Spears.
country genre, considering that it was trending really hard at the time. Her mom had her post covers of songs on YouTube to try and get attention from labels, and soon enough she got an offer from Capitol Records.
Oh,
On
wow.
March 10th, 2009, she dropped her debut single So Close to Me and announced that she was working on a new album. She lived in Nashville
On
for
an
3
album?
months to record
Crazy.
material. In 2010, she dropped her debut EP, Not That Far Away, and it peaked at number 32 on the Billboard Country
32.
charts. Not bad for a debut release.
I'm
Jennette
not
was
gonna
actually
lie.
a really
She was cooking. she was cooking. I'm not gonna
good
lie.
singer and was really able to show off her voice on these songs. But material-wise, it's exactly what it sounds like. A popular actress who happens to have a good voice, who's signed to a big label, has a big budget, and a really talented team. Most of the
sense.
writing was already done for her. The writing, the composition, the production. Just like acting, all Jennette really had to do was show up and say her lines. Her
yeah.
lines in this case being the lyrics. And just like acting, Jennette wasn't really passionate about making music at all. This was simply just another move
Understandable.
that she did to make her mom happy and bring in the
Understandable.
money, which it
Her mom manipulated her ass, bro. Especially just at a young age. That's fucked up. I'm like, come on now.
A year later, Jennette released a single, Generation Love. Her label was trying to get it on radio, so they had her go on tour to promote it. This would be difficult for Jennette because this would be the very first time that she would be away from her mom for a very long time. But right before she left for tour, she found out that her mom's cancer came back.
Oh.
Tour was pretty rough for Jennette. Early wake-ups and late nights, it was rough. Across America, she was performing in malls right in front of thousands of screaming teens. Material that she did not write or was very proud of. And it didn't help that after every single performance, when she would sign autographs and take pictures, people would make the same exact jokes about her getting out of juvie or eating fried chicken. After a while, it's
Right.
hard to pretend it's funny.
Yeah.
But there were benefits
Makes
to this
sense.
tour. With her mom not around,
I
Sam
probably would have said the same thing because I was, if I was like back then, if I was a little bit. Wait, what year was this? I was more 2006, but whatever. Well, I was like a kid in this time, which I was, but still, like if I was like growing up and like was able to go to these tours, then I probably would have said the same thing. I'm not gonna lie, I can't blame the fans. They love Sam Puckett. I do too. I love the way she played it. It's just fucked up on how she didn't even want to play it though, So like, I don't know, bro. It's just crazy. I can't wrap my head around it. That's how crazy it is.
and was finally able to be independent. She could finally shower by herself, something that she
About
was never
time.
able to really do. But the biggest part was that no one was there to monitor what she ate. So she now had the freedom to eat what she wanted and how much she wanted. She began to eat way, way more. Cinnamon Toast Pop-Tarts for breakfast, burgers and fries for lunch, Cheez-Its, candy, fruit roll-ups. Able to actually eat the full meal instead of just half the portion. Jennette could barely resist. She started to gain weight pretty fast and started putting on some pounds, which in her case is kind of a good thing,
Yeah,
considering
that is a
that she
good
was
thing.
severely underweight. But Jennette panicked as she saw the numbers going up, freaking out about how her mom would react. Coming home from tour, Jennette and her mom were both mutually shocked in the change in each other's appearance. While Jennette gained weight rapidly, her mom lost weight rapidly from all the chemotherapy,
What?
losing around 10 to
Oh.
12 pounds.
Chemo.
Deborah was completely shocked and disappointed with the severe gain in Jennette's weight and urged that she was out of control. Meanwhile, the cancer was getting a lot worse for Deborah, making her wheelchair bound. And when a cancer patient is wheelchair bound, they're basically living on borrowed time. Emotionally, this was a big burden on Jennette, and
That's
also
terrible.
career-wise too. Deborah was the one who usually drove Jennette to set because Jennette never had a license. Since
I said ban her ass. I just realized I said ban her ass, and then God said, "All right, bet."
her mom urged
Like,
that
what?
Jennette's energy would be better put towards memorizing lines rather than getting a license. So, Jennette got her own apartment closer to the studio. And Jennette was 20 years old at this time, so it was perfectly normal for someone her age to go live on their own, considering
Makes
that
sense.
she was financially able to afford it. It was an hour away from her childhood home in Garden Grove, and her assistant was able to drive her to and off set. Jennette was excited to finally be on her own, but also felt guilty because she would be away from her needy and decaying mother. But regardless, the decision was made, and Jennette was living on her own. Finally able to eat what she pleased, shower by herself, and be a
That's
real
great.
adult. That was until after all
until.
her family moved her stuff in. Deborah
Huh?
gifted her a copy of The Sting and suggested that they watch it together and asked to stay the night afterwards. Jennette knew that this would basically be the start of her mom moving in with her. But all her life, the one thing that Jennette was never able to do was say no to her mom. So, no chance it was going to start now. Deborah stayed over one night,
Damn.
then it turned into two,
Two,
into three,
three.
and then she basically started living there. Now, Deborah was Jennette's roommate. Jennette was not
There's no fucking way. No way.
able to escape her mom.
She literally wheezed her way in that bitch, bruh.
Her decline was speeding up. Seeing that Jennette was going to lose her mom, she needed to fill that spot with a new person. In 2011, Jennette started dating a writer from iCarly, Paul Glazer. They met when Paul started working on the show during its final season. Jennette kept this relationship secret from her mom and from the world, probably afraid of the judgment that they would get considering that Jennette was 18 and Paul was 32. Nearly
So, no, you're 18 and all, you know, do whatever you want. But I don't think I'm gonna ever date somebody who was 30. You might be thinking that's kind of fucked up. Why is that? Watch me like actually be like, watch me like next month. Oh, by the way, this is my girlfriend. She's actually 38, and this clip comes back up. That'd be funny. But guys, date people your age. Only thing I gotta say, not your age, but like, you know, close. It's kind of ironic for me to say that though. I'm not gonna say why it's ironic for me to say that, but yeah, maybe if I become famous one day, y'all find out why.
double her age.
That's crazy.
One night, Jennette lied to her mom saying that she was going to sleep over at Miranda's house, when in reality, her and Paul were going on a trip to Hawaii together. Jennette and Paul were having a good time on the trip until they were caught by paparazzi. The photos spread like wildfire over the internet because this was the very first time that people were learning about their relationship. Upon hearing the news, Deborah went berserk and wrote Jennette one of the foulest letters that a woman could write to her daughter.
What's that?
Dear Nett, I am so disappointed in you. You used to be my perfect little angel, but now you are nothing more than a little, all caps, slut, floozy, all used up.
For having a boyfriend? For having a boyfriend, you're just a little slut. That don't make sense. I don't know about that one.
And
then this is August 2012. Damn. I was in first grade. That's crazy. I was in first grade that year.
to think, you wasted it on that hideous ogre of a man. I saw the pictures on a website called TMZ. I saw you rubbing his disgusting hairy stomach. I knew you were lying about Colton. I had told her I was with a friend, Colton. Add that to the list of things you are. Liar, conniving, evil. You look pudgier too. It's clear you're eating your guilt. Thinking of you with his ding-dong inside of you makes me sick. Sick. I raised you better than this.
Well, why are you thinking about that? guys, why is she thinking about that? Thinking about his ding dong inside of you makes me sick. Get this woman out my face.
What happened to my good little girl? Where did she go?
Sorry. But there is no fucking way you are thinking about your child having intercourse with somebody. That's kind of weird, bro. Don't be thinking about that, bro. Why? There's no reason that should be even in your head at all.
Oh, and who is this monster that has replaced her? You're an ugly monster now. I told your brothers about you, and they all said they disown you just like I do. We want nothing to do with you. Love, Mom. Or should I say Deb, since I am no longer your mother. P.S.
Since I am no longer your mother.
Money for a new fridge. Ours broke.
The worst.
P.S. Send money. So you telling me? I hate people do this, bro. They have the right to say all that bullshit and then expect something from you. I hate when people do that shit, bro. That shit. What's wrong with people? I'm spitting, bro. Oh my god. Let me calm down. Cause what is wrong with people? Why do they be doing that?
The worst thing about all of this was that Jennette really didn't see this as toxic behavior at the time. She genuinely believed her mom. She believed that she was a disgrace. Jennette genuinely believed that she was the person in the wrong here, but Jennette wouldn't really have to deal with this for much longer. While her mom was getting slower and slower to death, Sam and Kat began production. This was a spin-off of both iCarly and Victorious that starred both Jennette McCurdy and Ariana Grande. The show was about Sam Puckett from iCarly and Kat Valentine from Victorious starting a babysitting company together in Los Angeles. The show was ordered for $20 20 episodes its first season, but then ordered for another 20 episodes 6 months later after seeing its initial success, which was massive for a new season. But this was a Dan Schneider production, and Dan was known for making all of the big hits in Nickelodeon. There was always the rumor that Sam and Ariana never got along on set because Sam was so jealous of Ariana's success, which initially caused the show to end. This was both true and not true. Jennette was initially promised a solo spin-off titled Just Puckett, which would star her as a school counselor. This is what she initially signed up for in 2012, but last minute Nickelodeon changed it to be a spin-off co-starring Ariana.
So they scammed her ass. They said, oh yeah, we're gonna give you your own show and everything. Then they said, oh psych, here's Ariana Grande. Damn, I can't say her name. Here's Ariana Grande. Boom, go out. Like, no, bro. Like, whoa, where's my solo show? You just promised me that, bro. That's what I signed up for, not this. What does that say? Chips soy? Where's Chips Ahoy?
Ariana Grande. Jennette and Ariana were professional on set, but it was true that Jennette was jealous of her. Jennette grew up in one of the worst parts of California, and Ariana grew up in a very bougie part of Boca Raton. Ariana was showered in Gucci handbags and Chanel outfits and taken on luxurious vacations by her family, while Jennette basically had to work to keep her family fed. And at the time that Sam and Cat started production, Ariana's music career really started to take off. Like, really take off. She often had to miss work to perform at events, record music, and do press for her upcoming album. Jennette was jealous that they were giving Ariana so much leniency for her career, while she had
the
to
sun on my face.
hold down
I know you think you have sunglasses on and that's the sun, but like, damn, bro, that's, you know, tell me this, bro. When you got sunglasses on, you're not staring at the sun. You're not staring at the sun. You still gonna fucking go blind if you do that. But like, damn, that shit bright.
The last straw was when Ariana couldn't come onto set for a whole week, and they accommodated her by writing an episode where she gets trapped in a box. Jennette was infuriated that they would go so far to change the show for Ariana, because when Jennette did iCarly, she had to turn down multiple movie roles for no accommodation. The fact that they weren't willing to give her the same treatment made Jennette take the blame out on Ariana. Even though Jennette hated being an actor and even had the opportunity to pursue a successful music career and turned it down, she was still jealous of Ariana.
I remember this box episode. That's actually crazy.
And to make things worse, it was September of that year that Deborah officially passed away from the cancer. The media somehow found out about her death immediately after it happened. As her mom was on her deathbed, Jennette tried to make her proud by telling her that she was down to 89 pounds, an extremely unhealthy way. Deborah died genuinely believing that she did everything right as a mom and left a good mark on her daughter. But in reality, she left a mark on Jennette that would make her spiral out of control. On the day of her mother's death, Jennette started 2 addictions: alcohol and bulimia. On the day her mom died, Jennette began drinking heavy to cope with the loss, chugging a big bottle of whiskey. Afterwards, she and her friends went to a sushi place and she ordered a giant teriyaki bowl while extremely drunk. Usually, Jennette would be careful with the portions not to disappoint her mom. But with her mom not around anymore, and in a very drunk temptation, she devoured the entire teriyaki bowl within seconds. Feeling super guilty after eating the large meal, she then went home and vomited all of it out. This started a very unhealthy pattern where Jennette would drink a very large amount of whiskey or wine during the night and vomit out her meals after eating them, or purge as she calls it. And this is where her bulimia started. Alcohol and eating disorders do not go very well together. Jennette grew up starving herself because she believed that eating too much food or almost any food at all was bad for her and not healthy. So even though she could now eat whatever she wanted, she was not able to keep it in her stomach out of subconscious guilt. Purging was a coping mechanism for Jennette when she experienced hard times, big or small. Had a bad day at work? Purge. Missing her mom? Purge. Going through a breakup? Purge. It got to the point where she was purging herself around 5 to 10 times a day while pounding nearly 9 shots a night. And all of this was happening while Sam and Cat was in production for the second half of the first season. On camera, Jennette was completely fine, but behind the scenes, she was a mess. She often would show up to work hungover and would dream about getting wasted at night after work. However, things started to seem hopeful for Sam when she was promised the opportunity to direct an episode for Sam and Cat, something that she dreamed about. Jennette still dreamed about being a writer and director, and getting this opportunity could be very big for her. However, the opportunity was taken back after one of the producers told her that one of the people on the show did not want her to direct. And
so we hate him. So we hate him because why would you say that? Why? She, bruh. Come on now.
Were willing to go so far as to leave the show if she was directing an episode. She was never
I will leave the episode. How much of a fucking hater do you have to be like, you know what? If she directs, I'm leaving. Niggas is haters, bro. This world is crazy. Niggas are haters.
told who it was, whether it was a cast or crew member. Many people could have speculated it was Ariana, considering they had beef, but it seems unlikely. When the show abruptly ended after only one season, media outlets tried to spread a bunch of rumors as to why it didn't last. Ariana and Jennette didn't get along. Jennette was jealous that Ariana was getting paid more. Ariana just simply did not want to do it anymore. Most of the media tried to put the blame on Jennette and make her look like the reason why the show wouldn't continue. It didn't help that at the same time, bikini pics that she sent to her ex-boyfriend were leaked online, and she skipped out on the 2014 Kids' Choice Awards where Sam and Cat won the best show. But again, these also weren't true. Like I said before, Jennette and Ariana acted professionally, and they were both equally paid. Jennette said herself that one of the reasons why the show ended was because one of the producers was sued for sexual harassment. And there's also a good chance that it had to do with the controversy of Dan Schneider. During the second half of Sam and Cat, Dan was not allowed on set because of his emotional abuse towards employees. And some of his scandals were slowly and starting to come to light around this time. I won't get too into detail about this because
I know about Dan Schneider. I even reacted to a video about him. Let's go to it real quick. I'm pretty sure I did. I remember doing it. Yeah, right there. Yeah, this is 9 months ago. That's crazy. I used to wear hoodies and shit. Still do. I wore a hoodie in that one video.
If you want to check that out after. Dan was still allowed to work on the show, but he had to work in a separate room and watch all the production through monitors. In her book, Jennette talked about how she experienced trauma from a man named The Creator. It's pretty obvious that she's referring to Dan Schneider and probably only named him that way to avoid any legal trouble. In the book, she talked about how The Creator wanted the kids to wear bikini pics for photo shoots, how he would get extremely aggressive on set, and how he gave her massages without her wanting them. Jennette even described that the very first time she tried alcohol was because The Creator pressured her to drink spiked coffee. And it was also The Creator who promised her the solo spin-off and the opportunity to direct an episode, both promises that were broken, which she coped with by purging. And after Sam and Cat ended, Jennette was offered $300,000 in hush money to not talk about her experiences with The Creator. She rejected the offer. Now this was the most direct that Jennette was about her experience with Dan, but it wasn't her first. In 2013, Jennette went pretty viral for posting this Vine directed at Dan saying, "Look what you've done to me."
Hey Dan Schneider, I know you're watching my Vine. Do you like my Vine? Fine. Look what you've done to me.
This was when the public started to see Jennette as going crazy, but looking back, a lot of people now see it as her trying to warn everybody. But now that Sam and Cat was over, her time at Nickelodeon was over, so it was time to find a new gig. Jennette moved on to star on the Netflix show Between, a show about a group of people who have to fend for themselves after a mysterious disease kills everybody over 21 years old. Jennette was excited to be in her first serious role. Netflix originals were getting a very good rep at the time, and being the lead in an original series was a game changer. No more kids shows. Now it's real shit. But it was upon her first day that she already had a bad feeling about the show. The script looked like absolute crap. And she also learned that Between was not actually being produced by Netflix. It was produced by the Canadian network City TV. Netflix was just simply the distributor. And upon release, the show got low to decent reception. With one critic
that's terrible.
A poorly acted upon regurgitation of post-apocalyptic cliches. Between falls short of Netflix's other high-quality offerings. But the show was well received enough by fans to get renewed for a second season. At the time, Jennette started dating her co-star, Jesse Carrare, and this was the first time that Jennette started having an authentic relationship. All of her past relationships either felt fake, forced, or were built on some type of unhealthy need. Her relationship from Paul simply stemmed from the fact that she needed someone close in her life now that her mom was dying. Her 2013 relationship with NBA player Andre Drummond was simply all for show. Jennette...
It was for show? I remember seeing about this. I remember seeing this. You can't fuck this that little ass dog. I was like, wow, that's terrible. That's really bad. But I didn't know it was all for show. That's crazy.
only stayed in it for as long as she did because it looked cute on camera at the time. But
Oh, wow.
her relationship with Jesse was different. He was flawed, but so was she. They were flawed together. Their relationship details weren't very public at the time, but in Jennette's book, she claims how she dated a man named Steven on the show Between. And matching up the timeline, it's safe to say that Steven is Jesse. In her book, Jennette writes how Steven suffered from schizophrenia and at one point genuinely believing that he was the reincarnation of Jesus Christ, but was also very supportive of Jennette in her time of need. She was still suffering terribly from her bulimia, which affected her everyday life. She would skip breakfast, eat a small snack for lunch, and then go absolutely wild for dinner and purge it all up. This was slowly starting to kill her. Well, not kill her, but it was pretty bad. It got to the point where she lost teeth from it. But Jennette recognized that this wasn't healthy and wanted to do something about it. So she went to a therapist at the encouragement of Jesse. Now, typical procedures for getting to the root of addictions and bad habits is getting to the root of the cause, mostly from childhood. Most people's issues always go back to childhood because that's when the brain is doing the most developing. When Jennette started talking to her therapist about her mom and everything she did, she talked about it positively, talking about how her mom was the one who got her into acting and taught her calorie restriction to help her get better roles. In Jennette, this was her mom helping her get a better life. She thought this was good. She thought her mom was helping her by doing this. But her therapist told her that her mom was the one who taught her anorexia and that this was abuse. This is when things started to become clear for Jennette, and she
clicked in her head. Let's go. It clicked in her. Oh yeah, my mom was fucking terrible. like it makes sense.
It all started to click that she was the real root for the issues. Her eating disorders, her relationship problems, a lifelong career that she was ashamed of. It was all because of her mom. She finally realized that her mom didn't get her into acting because it was best for her. It was a vessel to fulfill her own dreams and exploit her daughter for money. All of the problems that she had now were because of her mom. For Jennette's entire life, she was made to feel guilty for wanting something different for her life and also wanting to set boundaries. Now, it all started to make sense. This was not an easy thing for Jennette to accept so quickly. She even fired her therapist for bringing up the idea of this being a reality. To make matters worse, she found out that the man that she grew up with, Mark, was not her biological father. Nor was he the father to any of Jennette's 3 brothers.
I didn't know that. That's crazy. I didn't know this. What a plot twist. What? Are you serious?
For 7 years, Deborah had an affair with trombonist Andy Martin. He's actually been featured
7 years
in over 350 movies, and even
350 movies. There's a lot of movies.
Played a solo in Monsters Inc. and in La La Land. Jennette's father knew about this her entire life, but waited until after her mom passed to finally tell her. Jennette rightfully was confused and angry. How could her mom do this? How could she not tell them? Years of devoted church belief and constantly accusing her husband of cheating just for her to do the exact
same thing. I'm saying, what? Just do the thing. You ain't practicing. You're not practicing what you talking about, bro. Like, what you talking about? You're not practicing what you talking about, so what you talking about? What am I talking about? But there's no way.
Same thing.
That's crazy.
It seemed like the entire family was a lie. Jennette was finally starting to see the dark colors of her mom. Maybe she wasn't perfect. Maybe she did do terrible things. I mean, she had 21 years to tell Jennette who her real father was, and never did. Jennette wanted to find the truth, so she went to one of Andy's concerts to see him in person. He instantly recognized her and explained the entire situation. Andy always knew about Jennette and her brothers, but her mom did not want him to be around them. There was a big custody battle in court, and Deborah was able to win full custody after accusing Andy of being physically abusive, which he wasn't. And this seemed to be the only time they met. Finally starting to come to terms with who her mom really was, Jennette decided to take a break from acting after Between wasn't renewed for a 3rd season. She needed a break from the spotlight and finally focus on herself. She got a new therapist to work on her eating disorder by finally coming to terms with her past. She fully committed to recovering. On her 21st birthday, she threw her scale in the trash and stopped her unhealthy obsession with her weight. She started purging less and less and getting control of her bulimia.
That's good.
Eating and enjoying all the foods that she loved in life without worrying that her mom wouldn't approve. It was accepting the harsh.
Bro, she is fucking strong, bro. God really gives the toughest battles to his fucking strongest warriors. Cause goddamn, I don't know how the fuck I would have been able to do all this shit. I probably wouldn't be able to. Cause damn, bro, she's strong as fuck, bro. W woman. I'm clapping. Bro, I'm so scared to clap now because literally every time I clap, the group chat's like, hey, stop clapping your cheeks. Stop clapping your cheeks. I'm clearly clapping my hands. Stop saying that.
Truth about her mom that helped Jennette really commit to recovering. But she still wasn't interested in acting, so it shouldn't come as a big surprise that when iCarly got a reboot, she did not appear. Miranda tried to convince Sam to join, considering it was good money and could be a big opportunity. But Jennette had no interest. For Jennette, iCarly was a time where she was supposed to develop on her own and have a real childhood, but against her will, had to sacrifice it.
Yep.
Joining the reboot of a show that captured all of her terrible memories and trauma would be the last thing that anyone in that situation wants. Even if it was good,
understandable.
Jennette didn't necessarily
understandable.
She made great money from her acting roles in the past, getting $50K an episode from
Damn!
alone. And not to mention all the other money she
Yeah,
made from
rich.
her other roles and endeavors. Even though her
50K an episode? How many seasons of iCarly is there? My typing skills are showing. Why can't you just give me a fucking full ass answer? Okay, 6 seasons. Damn! 109 episodes?
mom never properly filed.
How much does
Not
he
to
make?
mention all great money from her acting roles in the past, getting $50K an episode.
50K a fucking episode? That's
Her
insane.
mom never properly
Hold up.
filed the Coogan account, which is legally required, if she wasn't already terrible. Even an episode from iCarly alone. And not to mention all the other money she made from her other roles and endeavors. Even though her mom never properly filed the Coogan account, which is legally required, if she wasn't already terrible enough. Now, Miranda was still a very good friend of Jennette's at the time. She was with her at Jennette during her worst times. When her mom died, when she was struggling with bulimia, and even went with her to go see her biological dad. Miranda, of all people, would completely understand why Jennette wouldn't do it and left it at that. And with her clear absence from the reboot and from acting, Jennette's narrative was that she was just another child star gone off the rails. It's
But
the
she
classic
wasn't.
Hollywood.
If anything, she got back on the tracks. She ain't derail. She got back on the tracks. I ain't gonna lie. She's strong as fuck, bro. Holy shit. She got her life together, bro. That's great.
Kid wants to act, kid gets famous, kid gets rich, kid grows up, kid gets addicted to drugs and alcohol, kid goes off the rails. And while it's true that Jennette was having a hard time behind the scenes, it was really more that she was being misunderstood. Jennette wasn't like most child actors who went absolutely crazy later on. People didn't really know the truth about why she was like this way. But now that Jennette was finally healthy and getting her life back together, she finally had the courage to get into writing, her dream. Now, Jennette already had some real writing experience when she was writing essays for the Wall Street Journal about her life on Nickelodeon. Her manager recognized her talent and encouraged her to write a book. And over the course of 6 years, she wrote the memoir, I'm Glad My Mom Died. Now, originally, it was supposed to be a one-woman show. Jennette already had tour dates set for the show, but it was shut down because of COVID. So she turned it into a book and officially released it in 2022. In the memoir, she laid everything out on the table. Her terrible childhood, her mom, how she hated acting, her eating disorders, everything. Within 24 hours of the book being released, all hard copies were completely sold out on Amazon, Target,
Oh,
and
yeah,
Barnes &
good
Noble.
job for you,
In the first
girl.
week alone, it sold 200,000 hard copies.
Damn.
That's not even considering the sales it did on the audiobook or digitally. The book was a complete success. The critics loved it. There was not a single bad review in sight. And that year, she won the Goodreads Choice Awards for Best Memoir. To promote the book, she did a ton of interviews and podcasts where she seemed much healthier and happier. All of these interviews gave people a real insight to Jennette. The world finally saw her story, and they didn't see her as a child star who went crazy with fame and money, but as a victim of her controlling mother and a terrible industry.
Yeah, bro.
And even with the book's title and everything her mom did, Jennette does not hate her mom.
No, I definitely don't hate my mom. I think she was a really complicated and nuanced person, and I try to kind of...
It makes sense. She just didn't get help. You know? Like, she just needed help. She needed to go to therapy, bro. She needed to do what Jennette did, which is fucking go to therapy and like get those problems, you know, solved, bro. She didn't do that. She really did. Like, if she did that, she'd probably be a better mom, a better person. But no, bruh, she just want to be selfish.
articulate her to the best of my ability in all of her many shades and colors. To me, her...
But obviously, she's not my mom, so... Obviously. Because I'm black, first off. Second off. So I can't say all this stuff. She's not my mom, so... I'm just going off on what he's saying. you know.
Humor is really, she could say things that were so wild and at times abusive, but she just had a certain cadence and a rhythm that was so humorous. So I tried to capture that, but I certainly didn't hate her, and I think that's why it was so important for me to write this book, because getting to the place where I was finally glad and relieved that she was dead, you know, it took me so long to be able to accept that reality. And I also think that's something that people, I didn't hear anybody talking about. I didn't hear anybody saying, you know, that the sort of honest reality of what their experience with their parent was, if they had a similar one. It feels like a thing that you can't say because society doesn't accept it. It's just, you have to keep moms on a pedestal, and we all have to have the same experience, and that just wasn't mine, so it felt even more important to express it in the book.
Deborah clearly had mental issues of her own that she never truly received the proper treatment
What I was just fucking saying.
for, and as a result, the family had to suffer from it, specifically Jennette. And as terrible as it sounds, it was for the best that her mom died when she did. It gave Jennette the space to finally take a break from acting and work on herself. If her mom was alive to this day, she'd probably still be acting, still having a terrible eating disorder, still suffering from alcoholism, and still being smothered on the daily. But now she became a writer just like how she always dreamed of. She has a New York Times bestseller for 40 consecutive weeks and is now being recognized as a real writer. But ironically, she became successful in writing because of her acting career. Sure, maybe she'd have a decent chance at making it in the writing world, but if it wasn't for the fact that she starred on a successful kids show, her book wouldn't be successful as it is right now. It's just the truth. Jennette finally achieved her dream career, but it took a lifelong nightmare to make it happen. But hopefully through her writing, she can move past the trauma of her childhood and live a happy life like how she always deserved.
Me too, bro. Oh, hi, how you doing? I hope so too.
Jennette
She deserved it. She deserved all the patience she had, all the shit she went through. She deserved it, bro. But yeah, bro. Guys, tell me what y'all thought about it, bro. What you think about her? Because I think she's a very strong ass woman, bro. Especially for enduring all of that. Because I could never really endure all that, bro. My mother, if my mom was like that. But yeah. I appreciate you guys for watching. I'm gonna probably go play some BAL. Upload some videos. So yeah. Bye.